Alright, so I'm James with Armchair Warlords, and today I'm going to give you guys a brief tutorial of how to play the popular Paizo game Pathfinder. This is one of the derivations of the Wizards of the Coast invented D20 system that was originally designed for 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons. It's become quite popular in its own right, and we're going to give you guys a brief rundown of how to get into the game if you've never played it before, ways that you can supplement your gameplay with additional accessories, and things that you might want to add to your collection of books just to improve the overall gaming experience. So the first thing, and the only thing you really need to play the game is the core rulebook. Unlike Dungeons & Dragons, this includes the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, and a little bit of a bestiary in the back as well. So when you go through the book initially, the chapters are laid out in kind of a logical order for creating a new character from scratch. And you get a brief rundown, and then it goes through chapter by chapter how to decide your race, how to decide your class, picking skills and feats, and equipping your character for initial play. After that, it sort of breaks into the more Dungeon Master side of the game, where you discuss the rules of combat and the rules of magic and how that system works. It gives you a good list of prestige classes, and then there's a bunch of additional rules for game masters, such as how to set up individual environments and arrange random encounters in those, and also how to create interesting NPCs, and lastly how to deal with magic items. As you can see, the book's pretty high quality. You've got lots of glossy, full color images. The text is laid out in dual column format, which is pretty typical for these kind of books. All the chapters are very well split apart, and each section is divided with easy to read text that has good headings and good explanations of everything. One of the great parts about this book as well, it has a fully useful index and glossary, so that if you're reading through here and you come across some word that you don't understand, or a rule that you can't quite figure out, such as, how does this specific meta magic item feat work with a specific type of item, or how can I use this in combat, you can go to the index or the glossary and cross-reference it and find what you need. So in order to play any pen and paper role-playing game, once you have the core rule book, all you really need is some paper, a pencil, and some dice. Your typical set of standard D20 gaming dice is going to work. You've got 4s, 6s, 8s, and 10s that are typically used for damage. You've got percentile dice, and you've got your D20, of course, for rolling most of your statistical outcomes for your game. You'll need a character sheet, and there are as many different variations of this character sheet as there are sands on the seashore. If you Google Pathfinder character sheet, you're going to get thousands of possible options. They're all laid out basically the same. You want the major categories of how to record your attributes, where to record your hit points, your character's biographical or demographical information, your saving throws, your weapons, and whatever skills you've got. And typically they're going to be 2 pages. The second page is going to be for more mundane information that you won't have to reference on a regular basis, but that you'll have to pull up every once in a while during a game. You're going to want a place to list your feats and special abilities, as well as what money or treasure your character's carrying around, gold, specific items, and any spells that you might know. Now, if you want to expand the game as far as options for your character or options for your gaming environment or your party, Paizo does offer 2 different varieties of supplemental guides. The first one of those is the Advanced Guides. They have an Advanced Player's Guide, an Advanced Race Guide, an Advanced Game Master's Guide, and basically these books, which are also fairly high quality, give you various character options, from new classes to new skills and feats to new ways of using the things that you already have in ways that you may not have thought of before. Typically they'll also offer you some type of adventure setting or adventure idea to utilize the new things that they teach you in the book. The second series of books they have are the Ultimate books, and they have Ultimate Equipment, Ultimate Combat, Ultimate Magic. These are also books that provide you with a range of different character options, sometimes new classes, sometimes new skills and feats. And in the case of the Equipment book, it's incredibly specialized and only offers you new types of equipment, armor, weapons, mundane things, everything from carrying around different kits to use with your skills, to owning pets and, you know, having feed for those. Another series of books that they've put out are these companions and handbooks, and these range in utility from a Dungeoneer's Handbook, which is just a list of things that you might want to use specifically in dungeons, to descriptions of specific campaign settings, to descriptions of specific individual cities and towns. Now, on the actual gameplay side, Paizo also offers a range of products that you can use to enhance your gameplay experience, not necessarily in the form of adding content, but in the form of ease of gameplay. One of those that's pretty common for most groups to have is a Game Master's screen, which is something that the Game Master can fold out in front of himself to hide his own dice rolls and actions, and also give him a quick reference of all the different tables and things that he's going to use on a regular basis. They have some additional useful things like this game combat pad that I picked up to play with in my games. It allows you to keep track of whose turn it is, which round of combat you're in, who's got what damage, who's got what status element. They also offer on top of these map packs. Some of the map packs are extremely useful. They're automatically made to scale for your 28mm to 1.5 inch miniatures. They use 1-inch squares almost exclusively, which makes it good because that's the system that Pathfinder uses for putting out combats on the game mat. And one of the other things that I personally like and that a lot of people have gotten a hold of are the card sets that they've released. The critical hit and critical fumble decks are the most common ones. These are basically cards that you draw whenever you roll a 20 or a threat, and actually confirm a critical. Instead of just your mundane 2 times damage or 3 times damage, you get a cool status effect, or something strange happens when you use your weapon. And some also useful decks that they've put out are things like buff decks and condition cards. These are just helpful little things that you can pull out if your character gets sickened, or if your character is frightened or something like that. You can pull the card out and set it next to your character sheet as a quick reference to know how your character is affected while he's under that condition.